Welcome back. Welcome back. WNYWaterCooler.com podcast. We got Steve. It's a Friday night, so this one might be a little rambunctious. And we got Coast.
What's up?
I mean, I know that no one cares, but I'm watching the Sabres game for some reason. I used to be, I'm sure you were, I used to just, I lived and died by the Sabres. When I was young, when they traded McGillney, I quit. I quit until the lockout in '04. I came back. But
Oh,
I mean, this team, I don't want to talk about it too much, but this is what people seriously sit there and watch these games?
I couldn't tell you. I used to like the Sabres as much. Oh, I mean, maybe not all the way as much as the Bills, but it was close. Like in the '90s, early 2000s, maybe. Definitely in like the mid '90s. But after the lockout, it's still on it. But I, it's hard to believe when I actually think about it, how much this organization has just sucked the fandom out of me over the past, like, what is it now, 13 years? Hard to
11 or
believe
12.
it.
It's wild. Watching the game, like, e- I really didn't want to talk about it too much, but you have number one pick defenseman. Okay, yeah, people say he's so great, and then the other one, a number one pick, a defenseman. People say he's so great. We had to pay these guys. We had to pay Cousins. Yeah, I guess I just really don't know hockey anymore because I'm watching it and I just don't see skill. I don't see talent out there. Okay, I've watched two periods of one game, but I'm looking. I don't know. It's crazy, but it's a
Watch
Friday
more
night and
minutes.
I'm just probably because I
How do
bet
you
on
get,
the Sabres and I'm furious they're losing 3-1 to the Islanders. But
what is it on? I don't even know. Is it on MSG, TNT,
yeah,
ESPN?
no, it's on MSG, but
I don't even get MSG, so that's part of the problem. But
no, you're lucky. You're fucking
still,
lucky.
more than 50% of the league makes the playoffs, and you can't make the playoffs. Not only do you not make the playoffs, you don't even sniff the playoffs. There, one year we like backdoored a almost ninth finish, and
Even in 2011, the last time they made it, they made it on the last day because of like a 4'8" guy scored a goal. That was the last time I was like, oh wow, the Sabres. But whatever. So who are the Bills? I don't know what happened. We played
transition.
Tennessee, the Jets. Who the hell did we even play? I don't know.
Our last
Oh,
game,
it was a road game.
Seattle.
Seattle. That was.
Now, I
Hmm,
just got to say real quick that our predictions have been pretty spot on the last 2 weeks.
we really have, and I regretted my prediction, and then it came out just very close.
Yeah.
But Seattle, without DK Metcalf, it's only one player. They look terrible. I don't know.
I mean, Kenneth Walker, a lot of talk about how good he is as a running back. They didn't have a prayer of running the ball in that game. I mean,
It
maybe we
hurts when
just
you take a 19-yard loss because the dickhead can't snap the ball. And they were all game. I felt like Gino was jumping up to catch the snaps.
well, I
And I
mean,
think that was their regular starting center.
how many good runs did Walker have? I don't
Well,
remember him.
he really didn't. Yeah.
Like, what was his long on the day? Like four? I don't remember him doing anything. And maybe we just dominated the line of scrimmage so
And we
bad,
have these
which
D line players. These players I don't even know them. The numbers. Who the hell is these? But yeah, they dominated the line of scrimmage.
yeah. And then offensively, I mean, your boy, Agent
Cook.
Zero, Agent Zero.
Yeah, Agent Zero.
Someone
Yeah,
called him that.
I don't think he. Nah, I've heard that. I don't think he's had any. Did he have any drop touchdowns in that game? Or
Oh,
was that
well,
game?
he had a fade that the first fade he didn't catch, and then the second one he dunked on the dude.
Yeah, yeah. He dropped the first and then caught the second one. But which that play, I felt like that play was extinct. But it seems, hey, if it works for old Keon, I'll keep doing it. But yeah, I thought that play was extinct. The fade to the receiver.
Well, when you got a guy who's a freak athlete going up against these DBs who are usually smaller, it's a freak. I mean, dude, the guy played
Yeah, he
Division
played
One,
basketball at Michigan State.
yeah, D1 basketball, D1 football. He's obviously a freak athlete, and he's big, and now you got highlights going viral of him pancaking dudes in the running game and pointing at them. I mean, the guy's a beast. He's he's he might become a superstar in the next couple weeks.
Mm, well, I would chill on that, but I mean, yeah,
I said might.
Izzo.
I said might.
If Izzo likes him, I guess. I mean, and
Yeah,
he's
can't
a
tell.
reputable person. He's a stand-up gentleman. So
Yes. Yes. So Coleman, Shakir. I mean, all of
I
a
mean, I know
sudden,
in Seattle they haven't played well at home this year, but that still is a pretty tough trip. I mean, it was
no,
raining intermittently there,
yeah,
short spread, and we just murdered them. I mean, we got. I think I tweeted. I don't know. Texted to it like we did have like the five luckiest minutes perhaps in franchise history.
we
Uh,
had the fumbled snap, the or the what was the other one? The lineman stepped on Gino's foot.
and then Joshy Poo fumbled, and we recovered it.
The kick, the that was incredible. That was one of the plays of the year. Left footed, I think. Nice little, right on the money for like 6 extra yards to get the first down. Did we
And
score on that drive?
I think anyone that was watching that game, definitely everyone in Buffalo was like Googling. I heard all week, like, can you advance a fumble? I even heard that at work. Like, can you advance a fumble? And because it was unintentional and because
Recovered
it
by
was
someone else.
an offensive lineman. So a skilled player could advance it, I think, but an offensive lineman, a non-skilled player couldn't. Or I don't know. It's very convoluted. Or it didn't. If it went out of bounds, it would have went back to the line of scrimmage. But because
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah, that because you can't. They don't want you to
You
bat
know,
out of
yeah,
bounds.
guy running to get the first down. Yeah,
And
that was sick. I
and
forget if
like
we scored
the touchdown
on.
from the
I don't
Jets
know.
on Thursday night, your shin touches down a quarter of a split second later, your knee goes out of bounds. Like
Yeah,
we're watching it frame by frame or digit by digit, whatever digital. I don't know what all the video is now, but how is that a touchdown? Oh, and then the stupid guy on the referee. Oh yeah, that was clear. Because of 2 digits of a second
this is the
or
shit I've been
of a
talking about
video.
for
I don't know.
years, maybe decades. It's ridiculous. They called it incomplete on the field, right? Like if you are watching it like at regular speed, you have no idea. I mean, it looks like his knee's out of bounds. Like two
Yeah.
second review, move on. If it's that, if it's that difficult to see, they call on the field. These out of bounds and these catch reviews are just no one watching the game. I guess unless you're a Jets fan, they somehow overturn it. Is like, wow, this is great. Like if you're a sports fan, just doesn't have a rooting interest. Although I mean, with gambling and I mean, everyone does. But like, it's crazy all these reviews between the reviews and the penalties. It's like, no.
Yeah, two flags and they're picking up flags. I mean, it really makes you question why I gamble on this sport. I feel like I gamble less on the NFL, but either way, I'm losing every weekend. I don't know, but somebody's got to be winning, I think. But
The amount of money they bring in gambling, I don't know. I don't know who's winning. I don't know anyone winning.
I don't
I don't know.
know. I
I don't
guess
know.
subtract a couple zeros from every bet I make. But so we have the Dolphins. The
Uh,
Dolphins game is so weird. I don't.
I feel
The spread is weird.
6.5 still.
The
Haven't looked yet.
team, no, that's six. I saw some 5.5s, or I heard some 5.5s. I don't know. To me, the spread should be 7.5. That should be the line to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Scared of
I
the back
guess
door, scared of
there's still
us
they
missing an extra point or something.
well, and the people still love Mikey McGee and think he's a
This is my time to shine. Now that thank you for bringing him up, McDaniel. I mean, I could just go on. I could talk about this guy forever. Uh, a magician, really, is what he is. What has
so
he ever done? He
like. I
he
mean,
beat Denver. He beat Denver by 63, and he's the greatest guy ever.
I guess I don't like. How can they be so bad? Like Tua's. I don't know. I guess if you're designing an offense that is like so contingent on the like super uber specific skill set of one injury prone quarterback, I'm just not sure that's the best strategy because he goes
I'm
out and
sure it's not. I am
yeah,
sure.
like so he goes out and you first of all you know he's like oh he got through one season we think he's like Brett Favre now and like never gonna miss a game and they bring in who's their backup? They didn't even. Did they even have it
Snoop.
back?
Well, they had Skylar Thompson, and then they brought in he changed his name to Snoop, or I think just people in the media changed his name to Snoop, but
So that's your plan. That's your plan. Okay, but
and they had to pay him in August this year. Like, good
yeah,
luck. I mean, good luck.
exactly, exactly. So I don't know, but there's people out there still think he's like a super good coach and probably expecting Miami's offense to like get right back to where it was. But guess what? Their offense in well, I guess the Arizona game they scored what 27 or something, 28, but they looked like shit against us. Tua was terrible. They played terrible against Jacksonville. They almost lost, and I mean Jacksonville's terrible. And what the last half of the season last season they like weren't that good.
Yeah,
So
I saw something they haven't scored more than 30 points since week 11 last year. So that's almost an entire season. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah, they have talent too. So I don't know what it is. If you, the thing to me is, I mean, everyone in the NFL thinks the same. That everyone has to think the exact same way. Well, you have a quarterback, you got to pay him, just keep him, and we'll just watch Mahomes win every single Super Bowl until we all die, or Tom Brady's son gets in the league, I guess. But if you love
yeah.
McDaniel, if you love McDaniel, I mean, he has Tyreek Evans. I mean, or Tyreek Hill. He's an all-time player. But so you love McDaniel. Do you not just trust him to find another quarterback? I mean, okay, it is kind of hard to find a quarterback. But ask the Niners. Ask the 49ers how hard it is. They trade up what no one even talks about that guy. He was such a travesty. What did he even play? 3 games? Did he ever play at all? And then they get the guy in the literal last pick, and he's more than serviceable. He's a pretty good player.
He's
Just
definitely good. He's
you
definitely
surround a
good.
quarterback with talent, you coach
Good
him up,
coaching.
a guy that played in college more than just 8 games, like fucking Anthony Richardson. I mean, there's just examples everywhere. It's really less complicated. There's luck, definitely, but it's not really that complicated, especially when you love people or whoever love this coach,
Well,
and then you
there's
pay Tua anyway.
I mean, right. I mean, how many quarterbacks are worth how many quarterbacks are in the league really deserve to like you have to pay them? Like
10 to 12, maybe.
I wouldn't even say that. Like, like okay, the Jaguars, they paid Trevor Lawrence. Is that a guy that's like, oh, we have to pay him? Even like Dak Prescott, like you really can't, like we can save 50 mil a year. I mean, he's the highest paid player of all time, right? We could save 55,
Per year.
50 mil a year.
And he's older, and he was a fourth round pick. They got value out of him for a long time,
Yeah,
at
but
least.
yeah, now like do it again. I mean, the Cowboys' best years were like when Dak was like a rookie in his second year or whatever. Like, I mean, they've been good at football, but not in the playoff. But like, I don't
I'll
know, man.
never, yeah, I'll never understand the NFL. There's
There's like five
s-
guys that are just like you have to keep on your team in the league. Maybe
there's
like
so much money involved, and I think that's part of what it is. You don't, and whether the owners, I don't know, do they want to win the Super Bowl or not? What they want to be is competitive, keep everyone coming and getting season tickets. It's not really about being the best team. And but what the other part of it is I don't really get what are you risking by like throwing 2 years away? Like the Titans or like whatever team. Like you just keep trying
right.
different quarterbacks. Okay, you used a guy for 4 or 5 years. He didn't work out. The Dolphins, they never even sniffed okay, they sniffed the division last year, but it's even worse. They sniffed the division and they completely collapsed.
Worse. That's even worse. And then they like laid an egg in a playoff game. Like they didn't even want to be there.
And you're like, oh,
Um,
well, it's cold. Well, guess what? How many stadiums are outdoors in January?
yeah. I mean,
Most? Half? More than half? I mean,
I just no. I'm with you. Like sneaking into the playoffs as a seven seed 2 years in a row. Were they? Or no? Last year they were the six seed maybe, and not being a real competitive, a real threat. is almost worse than just, you know, rebuilding for a year or two and try like I don't know, like the Dolphins as currently constructed, does anyone think the Dolphins are a legitimate Super Bowl contender?
No, I mean you couldn't possibly think that. I mean, Tua, you re-signed Tua, and I mean I would just like post that on Twitter and see what the responses are, and then be like, oh, actually maybe we shouldn't do this. Like it's really not that complicated. Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone, like there's people think there's gurus and geniuses. Most of us big football fans, we know as much about the league as I mean, maybe we don't know the inner workings of theirs. We know how the league works. We see what's working and not working. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
I think they make it way. They give too much credit to quote unquote geniuses.
yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't dislike Tua. Like, I don't have anything really against him. I just think from from the injury perspective alone, like, I just didn't see the need. You don't need to pay him, and you also need to have a better plan, and you also need to have a coach that can like do something. Like, you can't go from being
Who's gonna
good
sign
to
him?
terrible.
Who is gonna steal him? Quote unquote steal him away from the Dolphins? Like
Who's
I
going
would
to steal?
the
Exactly.
Raiders or the Panther. I can't even think of more than like three
Yeah,
teams that would really be like, ooh, I gotta get my hands on thrice concussed on primetime fencing Tua. I mean, yeah, Tua Tagovailoa, I have nothing against him. I thought he was limited in college. I thought he was exact same thing as Bryce Young. He was a little the sturdier than Bryce Young, and I mean, look at that. You play with three first round pick receivers,
dude, his receiving core was ridiculous.
running backs too. I mean, you don't even count the running backs. Gibbs. I mean, these the Bama the last 5 years. These teams are just like all star teams.
Would they have a receiver? Devontae, Judy, and I forget who else
The
now. They
guys on
like
their
four
team
guys.
now, Waddle, he was there.
Oh
He
yeah,
got hurt,
Waddle.
but he played. They had Gibbs. They have all these running backs. I mean, they even had
Yeah,
tight ends that were really good.
yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, it's that's the story of a lot, a lot of these guys. But like yeah. I mean, you're right. Like, what was the demand for him? What was the demand for Dak? Like, are Cowboys fans like, or Dolphins fans like, how would they have felt if they lost these guys? Would they have been upset? I'm like, I wonder. Do Miami fans like think Tua is like irreplaceable, or are they? I wonder how they feel about it. Like, would they have preferred them to like draft a
Well,
guy
people are
or
scared of the unknown. I mean, just generally, people are scared of the unknown. But I would, if I was all in
yeah,
on Mike McDaniel, which people are, I mean, the media
people are.
is. I would just say, okay, you can find me a quarterback. We don't need to go top five. Quarterbacks don't have. You don't have to be a top five quarterback. I mean, there's plenty of examples, but get one, try another one. I don't know, but just to sort of change back. So Dolphins are coming in here desperate. I mean, they're. Oh,
Desperate.
I could bring up the standings. The weather's going to be
Yeah,
pretty nice.
well,
It's 50s. I mean,
weren't
but they
the
lose
Jets
that. They get
desperate?
that
And
extra hour of sleep. Maybe they'll be sleeping on us. I don't know.
oh shit, that's right. Wow, big. Um, so yeah, they're 2-5. If they lose this game, I mean, the division's over, obviously.
They still
For
have two
them.
against the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we hope they split, right? I feel like the Jets or Dolphins, one of the two is gonna like make a little run. Not necessarily for the East, because in order for that to happen, we're gonna kind of have to sort of F up here, but not saying that's like
Oh, watch your
impossible, but
language.
yeah. I did. That's why. Yeah, exactly. There's children listening to this. Um, what was I just saying? Oh,
But yeah,
but
so
dude,
we don't want them to someone to sweep. But I think the Jets will go on a little bit of run. They're I don't know, they play the Seattle. They have we'll see. But yeah, they still play those two teams play each other. I doubt
they
either
could.
one wins
The Jets
both.
could lose. The Jets could lose to anybody. I mean, yeah, they could go on a run, but like, okay, last night that Houston team was pathetic.
I'm watching that Houston game. Yeah, against just fucking Stroud takes a sack on third down every single fucking time they're inside the 30. Of course, I
Yeah.
had money on Houston, but he's just taking sacks. I mean, they're not going to be able to fix their offensive line. They lost my boy Diggs. The guy was on pace for like, holy shit,
800 yards,
in the first six
850
games.
yards, eight,
Diggs?
eight. Didn't he have fewer yards than Coleman after last week?
You might want to double check that. Diggs was having a monster year. Guy
He
was
wasn't having he was not having a monster year. Monster?
for a 31-year-old that we gave away and took
For a
less
31
cat
year old,
draft
guy was
capital.
not having a monster. All right, let's look up this guy's. He was
I'm
not having
bringing
a
it up.
monster.
You talk about how your good boy Keon Coleman, if you'd like.
So Diggs, what do you have? He had 496, 47 receptions is pretty solid.
He was
496
like
yards.
seventh in receptions. He's on
Yeah,
pace for
that's not a
well over a
monster.
thousand yards and well over 100
Well
yards for.
over. Well over. He played, how many games did he play? He played one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 games. 8 games. So times two. That's not even 1,000. He gets the bonus 17th game. He would have like 1,038 yards. You're gonna tell me monster season? Get out of here.
For a 31-year-old that we gave away. We lost on that trade. I mean, you remember the
No,
trade? I mean,
I do. We did not lose. First of all, we still have the draft pick. I mean,
that we haven't
three,
used
three.
yet.
We still have the draft pick. Number
Less
one.
cap space. Less cap
Number
space.
two. I don't care about cap space. Number two, we have
Hmm.
he's not even playing. That's the thing too when you get old. I mean, Cooper, he's almost as old as Diggs, but there's a much higher chance you get hurt too. He's 31 years old,
I'd like to
Diggs.
see the research that you've done on the ACLs as you age from 28 to 31.
I mean,
A receiver
usually,
we just traded for that's the same age.
I mean, their careers end soon. They fall off cliffs. Diggs isn't like a super big
Jerry
athletic
Rice
guy.
is playing for the Seattle Seahawks.
He's a freak. He could probably still be late. Oh, Coleman's got 396 yards. See, he's like 100 yards behind your boy Diggs.
Who?
Keon.
Yeah, how many garbage time catches does he have? Half of them, I'd say.
Garbage time. He had one garbage time, like 45-yard reception. That's the only garbage time.
The Houston
Garbage
touchdown
time.
didn't end up
Did we?
meaning anything, but
It cut it to. It was a huge play. It was fourth down, and it cut it to 5 or whatever, or 3. Cut it to 3. What are you
I've
talking
liked him.
about?
I've liked him, but he's a
You're
little better
trying.
than I thought. I will say
Oh,
he's
you had high hopes for him. You thought he was going to be a stud then.
but he's looked better than Xavier Worthy, I would say.
Wow, I can't believe that a 6'3", 6'4", 220 man looks better than a peanut shrimp out there. Who would have
I was
thought?
never a Xavier Worthy
I mean,
fan,
who would have
so
thought that? I can't honestly. That's shocking. A 6 foot 160
well, I
doesn't look
wouldn't
as good
dance
as
on his I wouldn't celebrate yet, but
doesn't look as good as a Tom Izzo recruit. Get out of here. Jesus Christ. Now
he
we're no, I'm not drawing any conclusions yet, but it's just there's not a history of guys of Worthy's stature being really good receivers in the NFL. I mean, you can be a good gadget player, but like even those guys, I mean, they don't usually pan out. Even like, Tavon Austin, Reggie Bush. I mean, these guys, who has besides Deshaun Jackson? I think maybe you said Devontae Smith. He's like the one.
Hill's shorter, he's more compact, so he's not really comparable, but yeah.
Hill's like 180, 190.
Yeah, he's thicker, but yeah, Devonta Smith with the Eagles I would say he's pretty on the nose, but I
So,
never loved
anyways,
Xavier. Yeah, exactly. Well, the Chiefs, we'll talk about them in a couple weeks, but uh, the
the
Dolphins
overrated
game,
Chiefs.
yeah, well, we're 7-0, and they'll probably be like 14-3.
So were the 2020 Steelers. What happened with
Duck
them?
Hodges, I think we beat
No,
them.
that was the Roethlisberger year where they started 12-0 and they came into our barn.
2020?
Yeah, 2020. Remember we beat them on Sunday night.
With
2019 was
Roethlis?
Yeah, Roethlisberger. 2019 was Duck Hodges when we won in Pittsburgh to clinch a playoff spot.
I think you're saying the wrong year.
Oh, 2019. 2019, we won in Pittsburgh against Duck Hodges.
I remember
Allen
that game.
Allen hit Tyler Croft for the
So
game-winning TD.
Rapeless Raper was playing in 2020, you're saying?
Yeah,
Well,
and they started like 10-0 or 12-0. They might have lost a game before us, so they were like 11-1 or something. They came into playoffs Sunday night. Teron Johnson had a pick six. Um,
oh, maybe
eh,
that was Rapeless Raper.
it was, dude. Don't question me. And because the whole talk that season, remember, was like Roethlisberger. Like everyone knew they were like frauds, and
Yeah, no, I
Roethlisberger like,
remember because I remember
yeah,
watching a Teron Johnson compilation video recently, and he had that pick six, and that was
send
like
me that.
before I even really knew he was like great, but
Send me that.
yeah, it was,
Watch that later.
someone had to cut. Well, you gotta get back on Twitter.
Um, yeah. So what was I getting at? Oh, dude, they're the Chiefs. I say it every year. I'm just not scared of the Chiefs.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
talk about them in a
okay.
couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Talk about them in a couple.
we don't need to get into that. Yeah, that's just sad. But so I'm
Weeks.
looking up the spread just to double check it now. So the weather is supposed to be what, 50s. We got that we gained that hour of sleep, but with the parents, as we know, it's probably worse for us. But most of these NFL players, they don't really care about that
Get up
shit.
at 4:45 in the morning. I can't wait. Um, yeah.
Still
So
six. It's 649 and a half. I think that total went up a little bit.
they
Was it
are.
49?
They're probably going to be. Well, they're definitely going to be without
Their
Sealer,
safety.
the D lineman Sealer. They're going to be without Holland. They're pretty bang. I mean, obviously they don't have their normal DNs. Phil,
I think we lost you. Hello?
if yo, can you hear me,
Yeah, I think
Steve?
yeah, we got you back. Yeah, I got you
Janice?
back.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I'm here.
I was just gonna say I'd be surprised if I would expect a good offensive performance from our team on Sunday, just given the
Well,
injuries and obviously how in the track record.
I'm thinking, I mean, if people want to make money on this game, I'm thinking you take the over on Cook rushing, you take Allen over yards, and you take Achan. I think Achan is going to have a big game against us. The dude, he's only been in the league. This is only his second year, right? And I feel like he eats our lunch.
I'm worried about both their backs. Mostert's had big games against us too, and they're both back and they're both healthy. And Miami's going to just try and run the ball a ton. It's going to be like that playoff game, or no, not even the playoff game, not the playoff game. The game they played in December with Tua, where we won 32-29. They ran for like 200 yards. Mostert had like 100 yards at halftime. So that's going to be their game plan because Tua is going to be. He's. I don't know. He could potentially just be seeing ghosts out there. He struggles against us to begin with, and he just had the concussion against us. Crowd's going to be crazy. I just it might be a tough Tua game, but I think they're going to be able to run the ball at will.
Yeah, I mean, how can it not be in his mind
That's what
that
I'm
we,
saying.
the Bills, what? I don't see how it cannot be in his mind that the Bills have just pushed his brain into the dirt. I
Janice,
think we lost you.
no, are you back?
Hello?
Steve,
Yeah.
Janice, are you
I'm
there?
just saying, like, how Tua, yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm just
go ahead.
saying, like, how can Tua not think, like, he's not, you gotta, in the back of your mind, you gotta think, like, when I played the Bills and they've mashed my brain into the core of the earth multiple times.
You combine that with the fact that they never beat us, and it's like all those years we played the Patriots. It's just I don't know, like one team can just have another team's number. This is the same quarterback too that's had a lot of bad moments against this team. So yeah,
Exactly. And even one thing goes wrong, it's just like, oh, again. And you're like you said, the crowd is going to be going. This crowd, I think, is going to be going pretty good. And it's not. There's not going to be a lot of Dolphins fans, which. obviously. It'll be perfect weather for a nice fall game. I just think that we can blow them out.
Man, I think so too. I think so too. I mean, if we get the lead early, and I mean, Tua was horrendous in that week 2 game. Like the interceptions he was throwing in the first half, that pick six was real bad. So yeah, if we can get up a couple scores in the first half, start fast, then I do agree that this game has blowout potential. I think I've said that every single week this season, except maybe the Houston game.
You probably have it. Yeah, if we get up 10, their whole offensive game plan that we all assume be out the window. And like last week against Seattle, they got the ball. This time we decided, oh, we win, we'll defer, which why would we not always do that? But we stopped them and we got the ball back with like 14 minutes left in the first quarter. It's like,
And then we went on a long 90-yard drive where how many first and 20s, first and 15s did we have in that game? I swear it was like every first down play, it was like penalty, first and 20. And I wasn't even worried. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
there were a lot of false starts. Their crowd got in our head early.
a lot of holdings and just a ton. We had a ton of penalties in the first half. I mean, overall, a ton in the game. First half, we had so
Wasn't
many
that
penalties.
was that was the game that had the most penalties in the league this year? Or like in multiple years?
Well, mate, I don't know. It wasn't the Jets game. That game was raw too. But um, but yeah, we keep offensively. We got to come back from these penalties, like putting ourselves, But they're good enough to overcome it. At least they were. They've been. So
Well, my boy 43, I wonder if I could bet on him getting a turnover or recovering a fumble or an interception because it's basically a lock.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if he could play long enough in the game before he gets crippled again, but
I would say
I'd
it's
love for Bernard to get.
even odds for him to will he get a takeaway or will he finish the game? I'd say are about
Oh, it's
pretty
probably
even
minus
up.
200. That's got to be minus
And we
200.
got Amari's questionable, Benford's questionable. Like they both have wrist injuries. Like that, what happened there? I forget what Benford's is now, but they're listed as questionable. I think McDermott said like, "Oh, we'll have to see." What does that mean? Are these guys playing?
Well, he likes to say, we'll see.
I don't need to see Benford inactive.
Well, they probably want to get our first round bust some playing time so that we can trade him for like a seventh round conditional pick or some shit.
Well, he even said, I think he said for Bernard, like he should be good to go or something. He's not. He doesn't even have an injury designation.
Yeah, no, from what I saw, it didn't seem the only guy that was going to miss is our dickhead fullback. So, although
William
Ray
King.
Davis got hurt in practice,
No, our injury reports. I saw the Cooper and Benford questionable. I got a little concerned, but I mean, these guys should be hopefully they're playing. But
and
we
you're
might.
actually going to the game. You're going to the game? This is your first ever regular season game seeing your idol Joshi Poo in person?
Ooh, regular season game seeing Allen 18, 19. Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've been to a Josh Allen regular season
What a
football
weird
game.
thing. You love this guy. You have like a mural on your ceiling in your bedroom, and you
Oh,
never
life
saw this guy.
size. I've seen him in both. I've been to 4 playoff games. That doesn't count
What's your
for
record?
some
Oh my
reason.
God, I don't even want to know.
Two and two, two and some reason I skipped the Pats game. It's really just inexplicable that I didn't. I
Oh,
mean,
the only good playoff
I,
game he's ever had.
I what? I mean, he was excellent in the Chiefs game. Dolphins game was a little bit of he was
Oh,
a
the
little bit out
crowd.
of control. But
I didn't see that coming. I was surprised. I was surprised Josh Poo.
McDermott, we're up 17-0, and we're throwing bombs to John Brown when we could just basically ice the game. No, that game was like we talk about all bad McDermott games. That Dolphins playoff game was a calamity. Just get it to just win the game and move on. And we have to. We're it's crazy, but
Well,
uh, yes,
that's what we like to do because it's we get so bored in the wild card. We play against the third string quarterback. We gotta let's keep the team engaged. I mean, we have plenty of time this season to break down Joshi Poo's opponents in the playoffs and
we
what
got
his
to make it.
record is. But
Got to get in the playoffs first. But the
I think we're
Flyers
98% chance to make the playoffs, something like that.
minus 1,700, or we were
Yeah.
minus 1,700 before the Jets game. Now it's probably like minus 15. I don't know. But yeah, we're like it would take a really bad second half. I mean, what we have, we're 6-2. So what's that? We have 9 games. So we'd have to go 3-6 to finish 9-8, and that still might be good enough.
Yeah, we have two Patriots games and another Jets game at home and Dolphins at home. We got the Colts. Anthony Richardson. I'll talk about. I can't wait to talk about that guy. I'm about to check myself out. I need a break. Take a little time out. But what's your prediction here?
Uh, man, it's I do feel a little bit nervous about this game, but it's I don't know, man. I feel like we're dialed right now. I think I said that after week 3, as well. But they don't have, and it's another team that can run the ball. They don't have Derrick Henry. I mean, you don't have an 87-yard TD on the first play. Things might have been a little different. Um, yeah, they're not. I think we're scoring 30. I'll go 34-23. 34-23.
11-point win. I just if it's the Dolphins, we just own them. I feel bad for this quarterback. I really think
Me too.
Appanasa or I mean now the guy we never talk about uh is back too. So he'll be out there. We I don't know. Tua, I hope this guy saved his money. I don't know. I can't believe that he's
Best
already
case
back. And
scenario.
I think
Best. Go
I think
ahead.
I said that like he'll be out 4 weeks, get one more game, and then he's got to come right into our barn. I don't know, man.
I
I
hope.
just hope Epinesa just gives him a nice firm hug and doesn't drill his brain right into the
I mean,
cemetery underneath the stadium. But I think we're just gonna smoke him. It'll be like 30-14.
yeah. Best case scenario is that Tua, we just destroy them. Tua doesn't get hurt, but he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just done.
Yeah, I mean, I root for injuries. I'm not like everyone else. I'll root for injuries, but